Yeah, no, it's not the Guy on a Cube channel. That's a great channel, but this is Lucid Insights. Look, I just want to welcome you back, and it's going to be another great What's New session. So really covering off the Power BI update for September 2020 from Microsoft. And they've done quite a lot, given that they've had to prepare and now presenting the virtual Ignite conference. So yeah, pretty awesome stuff. And as you can see, we've got some content through here and up there, and I'm your host for this session. So without further ado, let's get into it. Smart narratives, pretty interesting feature. This is something I would have done a long time ago with OLAP cubes and connecting through Excel, create a chart and embed that chart in a Word document and wrap some commentary in the Word document around that chart. So a little bit long-winded process of creating the report, but it's an effective way, and refreshing it was quite a simple affair. So however, what's really interesting is now that's kind of like brought into, in some fashion, into Power BI. And basically, I think what they have called it here is summarize, or as they sort of mentioned in the Power BI blog, they call it basically like a smart narrative. It's kind of interesting. We'll have a quick look at what I have to show, but as you can see on a particular plot chart, selecting right-click summarize, it produces this commentary using machine learning, and fantastic. So formattable, if that's a word, formattable. So yeah, it's no, you're not really just stuck with what Power BI generates for you through Azure services that sort of sit behind it, but you also can format it, and you can add your own commentary as well, and make that commentary dynamic by utilizing say a measure as they're doing here, and embedding that within the commentary that you've added. So a really interesting thing, and again, you can format that, which I think they show in a minute. You go back into that particular measure that you've added into the comment, and you can change the, format that particular measure. So yeah, pretty cool capability. Another interesting thing I think they show here is that the cross-filtering that occurs in the reporting. So when you click on a particular visual, it then impacts the commentary that's generated as well. So it's not a static commentary generated once off. It does change when you navigate yourself around the report. Pretty cool feature. So visual layer order, or maintaining it, is what this is about, and really just covers this issue where you have an object that, like they've got here, that large blue border in the background. He clicks on it, that background comes to the foreground, and this is in the Power BI service. So it comes to the foreground, it obscures all the other visual objects on the page, and you can't see can't see them anymore. So that's a bit of a pain. So how they've dealt with this is under general, clicking that maintain layer order, and then so in the service, when you're interacting with the report and you click on that background, it doesn't come to the foreground, and so you're still able to see the objects as they were originally. The other thing just to bear in mind is that some objects have just like a header that's at the top, and you can't get to, say, those three dots, for example, if there's another object that happens that sort of come into focus when you click on it. And so that's hand in hand with that pain point we talked about before. So just be mindful of that, and that maintain that visual layer order option is a useful way of dealing with it. So total labels for stacked visuals. Normally you have like data labels, which will show for each of the stacks within the visual, but by turning on the stack label, the total label, you'll end up with a total that's at the top of the stack basically. So it's pretty simple, but quite an effective and useful element to have within the Power BI stack. So. Okay, the autoplay slideshow is pretty much something we've had a little while already. Basically what you do, obviously saying, you basically full screen the visual, click down the bottom and click play, and that's when you begin the slideshow. So what this introduces the autoplay and some controls around that autoplay situation. So you're going into settings on slideshow, you change the time or transition frequency, what are the objects like the pages and bookmarks that you're going to cycle through, and whether or not the app launches on a particular page when you start up Power BI Desktop. So yeah, it's a really kind of nifty feature, and yeah, pretty good. Lineage view enhancement is pretty cool. So as we would have had before, basically in Power BI, you would be able to go to in Power BI service when you're within a workspace. You can go up to the view as they're showing here and click on Lineage to see what the lineage of the data is through all the assets within the Power BI workspace. One of the key things here is obviously they're showing us now with the search functionality. You can search through the entire lineage to search for those objects relating to the terms. So they're using some use cases here with our search where you might search for a particular data source type, so or a data source connections. So in this case, they've searching for Twitter DB, which is the name of the connection string that exists within the lineage view space. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And then basically they take it further to look at the impact analysis. When you find the object that you're looking within lineage, click on that little icon, takes you to the impact analysis, and then you can notify contacts. So the intent being that potentially you're changing a data source which may have downstream impacts on people using that data source. And so you can kind of notify them that the changes being made may potentially break their reports. So yeah, so this is another interesting visualization, the Collage by CloudScope. It's really about that very visual imagery of bringing pictures and images into your Power BI space. So this particular visualization brings images, particularly through like a URL reference, into your Power BI reporting. Yeah, not 100% sure where the use cases are, but it creates a very interesting, I guess, visual element to Power BI that rather than the standard sort of data visualizations like bar charts or column charts, for example, you can have images that when you hover over, you see some tooltips, for example, or it enables you to perform filters. So it's worthwhile having a look at and sort of visit App Source and sort of play around with it. So the last one we've got is the template apps multi-channel attribution. So it's really for those performance marketers in that particular space. And as you can sort of see here is really it's just bringing together all the social media content or data into a particular space, and it's pre-built reporting, so it's template app. Very interesting, worth having a look at, especially if you're in that space of being the performance marketer. Okay, so that's about it for this month. I think the Power BI team did a fantastic job, and really we only just covered off, about a third of what they produced. We really just covered off the demonstration materials that they put out. As per normal, this video is really just a very quick intro into what's there. The longer video is obviously under the Power BI team's channel. I'll put that in the description below so that you can get access to it. It's been pretty good to see this again, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hit the like button if you have, And that's about it from me. So have a fantastic afternoon or morning or whenever you're watching this, and I'll catch you next time. See you later.